What is going on, my Patriots? How you guys doing? Welcome to another edition of, you guessed it, Joel Davis Media Network. If it's your first time tuning in, I want to say thank you very much. Today's topic we're going to talk about is coming right out of Virginia. Yes, Virginia Democrats are now trying to push to introduce a bill that will allow your minor child to be able to get medical care without your consent at all. Man, this is crazy. So, I'm about to show you a video clip and I will give you my 2 cents in between it. If you want to see it without my commentary, I will put a link in below, or you can go to the Fox News website and see it from there. Without further ado, let's jump into the topic.
When I was growing up, parents respected teachers and vice versa. They worked together to mold you into a productive member of society. If anything out of the ordinary happened at school, your parents would know. If you got into a fight, they called your parents. If you were flunking, they called your parents. If you were going on a field trip, your parents had to sign a permission slip. A lot of schools today are trying to completely cut mom and dad out of the equation. They don't want you to have any say in your kid's life. And they've taken it way beyond education. A mom in California is suing her school district because she says they secretly transitioned her fifth-grade daughter. The fifth grader allegedly went to go see a guidance counselor because she was emotionally struggling after the death of her grandfather. The complaint says the guidance counselor then convinced the girl to adopt a male identity.
We're going to pause right there. Now, we talked about this story about in California, the mom who is suing the school district because all this time she was told, all this time she thought her child was normal. And over the pandemic, that's when she realized that her daughter was being coached into being the opposite sex of what she was originally biologically born. Yeah, I said it, biologically born. So, with that being said, it's been a very controversial issue. A lot of parents are not liking this at all, and they have every right not to like it. I'm a parent, and I sure in the hell would be very upset if my underage child got any kind of medical consent without me and my wife not knowing about it under the age of 18. Again, 18 and up, your business. Under 18, it's your parents' business. Let's continue.
Alleges that the counselor then told teachers to refer to the fifth-grade girl by a boy's name. And she told the kid to keep it a secret from her mom. And when the mom found out about this, she confronted school administrators, and they took the guidance counselor's side and said it was all legal. Primetime reached out to the Chico Unified School District, and they said They can't respond because they haven't physically received the lawsuit. The mail's probably held up. There's been a lot of flooding in the area. And they went on to say this: assure our community that Chico Unified does not have a parental secrecy policy, nor do we ever try to define a student's personal identity. The district will thoroughly review and investigate any claims in the lawsuit once it has been received. Aurora Regina is that mom, and joined by attorney Mark Trammell. So, first of all, Aurora, how is your...
All right, so if you want to see the rest of that video, then you can always go again to Fox News and see it that way. Now, let's get back to the article at hand. I just want to give you a concept of how crazy this has become, and this is in California. Well, this is what's going on now in Virginia. California waves has came to Virginia. Let's get to it. If the bill were to pass, medical professionals will be allowed to withhold medical records from a parent. A new bill being pushed by Virginia Democrats would allow minors access to medical procedures without requiring parental consent. Which one medical professional calls a slippery slope that can have unintended consequences. At the beginning of the new legislative session, 5 Democratic delegates introduced a bill that seeks to allow a 16-year-old to access medical care, a move that could open the door to more gender reassignment surgery and abortions among America's youth. Let's pause right there at this. Think about your 16-year-old having this type of power. But I'm going to revisit that in a minute. Let's continue. The bill reads that any individual as young as 16 years old should be deemed an adult and granted access to medical care without parental consent. Any minor 16-year-old age or older who is determined by a healthcare provider to be mature and capable of giving informed consent shall be deemed an adult for the purpose of giving consent to consultation, diagnosis, and treatment of a mental or emotional disorder by a healthcare provider or clinic. The bill reads, if the bill were to pass, medical professionals will be allowed to withhold medical records from a parent if their stance would deter the minor from seeking care. The bill also specifies that any minor should be allowed to consent to their own medical services in case of birth control or pregnancy. Extending medical freedoms to minors is a slippery slope that can have unintended consequences. Dr. Nicole Sapphire, Fox News medical contributor, said in a statement stressing the negative outcomes that could result from the bill. The reason provisions have been put in place limiting responsibilities in kids is because their ability to make important decisions and overall thought process have not fully developed. As this detransitioning is becoming more common among American youths, there are growing concerns over gender reassignment surgery on minors as lawmakers are seeking to strip parents of their involvement to their child's medical care. The bill does not specifically state gender reassignment surgery as an available option to minors, but suggests the child will be allowed to make their own medical decisions is open up the door to such procedures. Boston Children's Hospital is one of the hospitals that currently offers gender reassignment surgery to minors. The Center for Gender Surgery at Boston Children's Hospital offers gender affirmation surgery services to eligible adolescents and young adults who are ready to take this step. Their website reads in promotion of sex change surgeries for minors. In October, Virginia delegate Elizabeth Guzman told WJLA that at the start of the new legislative session, she would introduce a bill that would go as far as penalizing parents who do not affirm their LGBT children with a misdemeanor or felony charge. Mm, 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 mm. The proposal, which received major backlash from parents nationwide, sought to expand the state's definition of child abuse and neglect to include parents who do not affirm their LGBT children's gender identity or sexual orientation. All right, guys, we're about to get real candid about this. So, as we know it, a child under 18, right? They can't get, they're not able to vote, which they're trying to change that too, but that's another topic for another day. Under the age of 18, they cannot make the decision to put or get a credit card in their name, any kind of major bill in their name, get property, houses, or anything. They're under the age of 18. But you're telling me that they are going to be able to make a decision for gender reassignment surgery when you are seeing a lot of these children who was experimented on or was the first slew that made that decision are now trying to detransition because they found out as they got to become an adult that's not what they want. Perfect example given. I had a friend of mine, and y'all know I've always outspoken about my son's sexuality. Like I said, he's bisexual. I had a friend of mine who had a son who went straight and said, "Hey, mom, dad, I'm gay." When he was a teenager, he did this at 14. Okay, follow along with me on this. At 14, make sure my mic's working here. At 14, okay, he made that decision. Then he turned around when he got 19 and just basically said, "You know what? I'm I am attracted to women way more. I don't even have any feelings towards the guy. I'm to that point now. I just want to be with women." Now he has gotten married. He has uh moved on and uh got a divorce and now has a fiance and now they're having a child. So that just goes to show you how children mine are as teenagers. I remember when I was a teenager, I wanted to be a lawyer. That's all I talked about. I wanted to be a lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. But by the time I got 18 and 19, I changed my mind. I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be in school that long. I want to do something else. So that lets you know where we at in society. Not every child is going to have the same decision. So to sit here and tell me that a child is responsible enough to make medical decisions that are life altering at under the age of 16, you've lost your mind. Now don't get it twisted. If it comes to a child choosing which parent to live with in a custody battle, that's fair. I mean, every child has that right. But when you're talking about children making a decision that is life altering, let's go here and see what else they said about this whole situation. And let's talk about the pregnancy thing. They said that children that do this should be able to make a decision if about a pregnancy. Well, if you got a minor child that is pregnant, and especially if you got a lot of single mothers out there that goes through this with their children, don't you think the single mom that is raising that child should be involved because she knows what has the process is of making decisions about getting a child, a baby? So to me, again, this is a way of the government who's been doing this for years, trying to do this for years, trying to stop parents having any kind of control of their teenage children. Oh, and it gets worse. When they bust out and said this delegate out of Virginia, Elizabeth Guzman, this woman is trying to say if you don't agree with your child wanting to be a part of the LGBTQ plus community of getting their sexual affirmation surgery or assignment surgery, you should be arrested and charged with a felony. You know they say misdemeanor felony, but you know they're going for a felony. That's how they work. Are you shitting me? You gonna charge me with a felony because I have made a decision that I feel for my child under the age of 18 is not ready to do. Because see, the thing about kids is that people fail to realize that children as teenagers are very indecisive. They will say one thing and do another, and say one thing and do another, and they do that until they get about 18 and 19. They starting to form a plan of what they want to do. And I should know because I got a bunch of teenagers in my house now. Hello, goodbye. Son. I mean, not my son back there. Anyway, what I'm saying is that you got, this is not a good bill. This is a dangerous bill. And then here's another thing that nobody's not looking at. What if the child makes a decision medically that could mess up their life forever, or put them in a coma, or do something to them? You know the parent still got a right to sue the state and to sue the hospital that's involved. I mean, people just ain't thinking. This is not a good bill. Anyway, guys, just tell me what your thoughts are. Do you think this is a great bill, or do you think in your mind this is another tactic for the radical left to try to control our children? Please drop it in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe if you already made it to this end of the video. Y'all know what it is. I'm out.